Hello, everybody. Welcome to a chat with Castles, Capes, and Clones. Not live today. Loren is feeling under the weather, and today is Tom's birthday, so he is off gallivanting in Disneyland. So, everyone, say hi to Tom and wish him happy birthday. So, it's just me today, and I'm doing this as a pre-record, just because it was easier to do this by myself this way. So everyone also send good thoughts to Loren. Like I said, he's feeling all under the weather. And instead of not doing something, because next week I'll be in Star Wars Celebration, so I don't think we're going to do one unless Loren wants to do another little link thing like this. But there was a lot of news that kind of dropped today, especially in the world of Star Wars. So we agreed that I should try to attempt to do something today. So here I am. So I'm just going to go through some of the big stories today, as of today. We're going to start with some Disney news. Let me just get this because I'm also myself. Pixar announced that their next movie called Elemental will be released in June of 2023. So literally like a year from now. I think it's June 16th, 2023. Today's June 19th or May 19th. Wait, hold on. No, a year and a month from now. Yes, I can math almost. Elemental journeys alongside an unlikely pair, Ember and Wade. I'm assuming the little fire woman is Ember, fire, and Wade looks like a water person. So like wading through the water. Get it? Anyway, unlike the pair Ember and Wade, in a city where fire, water, land, and air residents live together. The fiery young woman and the go with the flow guy are about to discover something elemental, how much they actually have in common. This is some concept art you can see on the screen. Obviously, you can see Wade and Ember in the front, but in the background, you kind of see like tree-looking people. That's obviously going to represent land, and I'm guessing the air ones are, you can kind of see like some purpley people there. So this is kind of interesting. It looks like they're in a cityscape. So I feel like it's almost like a cross between Zootopia and Inside Out, in that there's a representation of certain things, but these are elements. So it looks pretty cool. What do you guys think? And then also, they also announced that Hocus Pocus 2 and Disenchanted have release dates. Hocus Pocus 2 will come out this year on September 30th, just in time for the Halloween season, so that makes sense. And then Disenchanted comes out about 2 months later on November 24th. And here is a first kind of look at Amy Adams and Maya Rudolph in the Enchanted sequel called Disenchanted. Again, that looks pretty cool. Moving on to Marvel news now. A couple of Disney Plus announcements that they had. Loki season 2 will be starting production soon, so that's kind of cool, especially given that and how it ties into Multiverse of Madness and all those kind of things. And I'm sure that's going to be in time to tell the story maybe before Ant-Man and Wasp Quantumania, because I think it all culminates into there, because at the end of Loki season 1, we find out that the dude at the end is Kane the Conqueror, and Kane the Conqueror is the antagonist of Ant-Man and Wasp Quantumania. So we'll see how that goes. But also, Echo has started production. Echo is the spin-off of sorts that come from Hawkeye. Very strong ties to Kingpin. If you remember, spoiler from the end of Hawkeye, She confronts Kingpin, and who knows what happens. And also, just today, I don't have a visual handy, but I just learned that they've finally officially announced that Daredevil is going to be worked on a Daredevil series on Disney Plus. So I'm assuming she might be part of it. Who knows? Matt Murdock might appear in Echo as well, but it's the first of the Netflix shows that kind of has any kind of continuation. We don't know if it's going to be a continuation of that story. Because I think when Vincent D'Onofrio talked about reprising his role as Kingpin, he said that it's a different version of him. And given all the multiverse stuff, variants and whatnot, it's probably safe bet to say that this is not exactly the same story that comes from the Netflix shows, but it's the same actor, so it looks the same, but his journey might be a little bit different, which, as much as I like the Daredevil show and some of the other Defender shows on Netflix, it never felt connected enough. So they can almost clean slate it with, a favorite actor. So I'm hoping that maybe that means we'll might get Jessica Jones, Luke Cage, a better Iron Fist. But also the other cast of characters like Elektra, and the Punisher. Who knows? We'll see. But that is the first confirmation. We did have a rumor a while ago, especially after Spider-Man hit, that they were working on a Daredevil show. And in the production notes from, I forget the name of the publication, but they kind of go through production series and give information. And that was listed as new Daredevil series. So first confirmation. The other big news from Marvel was that they released the She-Hulk Attorney at Law trailer. I think this is the first time we actually got the full title. I think it was just called She-Hulk before, but now it's actually called She-Hulk Attorney at Law. And it's coming out in August 17th, 2022. So right around the end of the summer-ish. And it will be a 9-episode season. We don't know if it's going to be more than one season, but the season will be 9 episodes. Loren gave his thoughts on the trailer. Let's see here. I think I like the tone, and it's very much what I thought it would be. She-Hulk's not a very deep, dark character. She's actually very light-hearted, and her deal is not the same as Bruce Banner's. She likes kind of being the Hulk version of her, but she has more control over herself. But it does kind of act like, if you're familiar with Superman Red Kryptonite, it lets go of her inhibitions and stuff. So she's a little more social. Whereas when she's normally Jessica Walters, she's more subdued, introverted kind of thing. So I like everything. I like that they actually included the Hulk in here. The thing is that's questionable is that when in the timeline does it take place? Because last time we saw the Hulk or Bruce Banner, he was still in a sling because of what happened in Endgame. So does this take place during the blip? Maybe. Who knows? It'd be interesting to see where this is. I think my only thing is that there's still an uncanny valley deal with her. And it might be just early, and they might be working on it. But some of the shots in this trailer, she looks a little too perfect, I guess. She her skin complexion was a little too smooth, almost cartoony. Whereas when you see, Hulk, it's a little, maybe it's because it's a little more believable because he's not very human featured. He's exaggerated. He's got a bigger face and whatnot. Whereas She-Hulk has always kind of just been Jessica, but taller. It's very human, very close to human-like. Just imagine her green skin and taller. So that might still be a reason why there's a little bit of that uncanny valley to me. Otherwise, everything else I kind of like. I like that. I don't know. I always thought it was going to be like Alan McBeal ish, and I think with what's coming down the pipeline from Marvel, with possibly Secret Wars and a whole lot of war, and probably there'll be some tragedies and stuff. Like going into a couple like Ms. Marvel is going to be very. It looks very fun and light, kind of like Hawkeye was after what happened in Multiverse of Madness and No Way Home. I think we're good for a nice fun summer, and then we get into, I mean, even including Thor. Thor's coming out this summer. That's going to be a fun romp. It looks like, and then in fall we're going to go into Wakanda, and that's going to be a little heavy because they have to deal with the loss of Chadwick Boseman. So I don't know how that's going to work, but I don't foresee it being, a nice, fun show. It's going to be kind of deep and kind of somber, I would imagine. I'm not all of it, but just having to deal with the ramifications of the loss of Chadwick might bring that down in the feeling. So having a nice break of just fun Marvel superhero-y stuff could be a welcome distraction. I think that's all the Marvel stuff. There was another tidbit from Hulu, is that the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen is going to be rebooted. I don't know if reboot is a word. I mean, they made a movie, right? It was famously the last movie that Sean Connery did. And the premise behind it, it's an Alan Moore story. The same one who wrote Watchmen and Swamp Thing and stuff like that, where it's kind of like a Justice League / Avengers, but features literary characters. Like from Bram Stoker's Dracula. I think it was Mina, wasn't it? I can't remember, but she's a character from the Dracula story. Alan Quartermain. Oh my god, I'm forgetting. Jekyll and Hyde on it. So it's a premise that I'm actually I kind of like. I kind of wish they would do a modern version of it, but I think it's still going to be 40s ish era. I don't know. It's the 40s, probably a lot earlier, probably the 1800s. I'm not sure, but it's taking that and then making. I think they said a movie. I'm not sure, but I like the concept, so I hope that it's good. And like I said, that's being worked on Hulu, so it could be a series or it could be a Hulu movie. Who knows? So the big thing I wanted to definitely hit upon, because I am the Star Wars guy, is that. Oops, there one. Vanity Fair. Usually when there's a Star Wars movie, Vanity Fair does a nice article with a lot of great pictures by Annie Leibovitz. And because Obi-Wan's coming out and there's a whole lot of stuff coming out, she did a spread on the live action TV shows on Disney Plus. So you can see here's the cover. Features Ahsoka, Rosario Dawson as Ahsoka, Pedro Pascal as the Mandalorian, Din Djarin, of course, Ian McGregor as Obi-Wan Kenobi, and Diego Luna as Andor, which is coming out soon. The article itself contained a lot of news. Speaking of, let's see. Well, let's go through the pictures. So this is a picture. You can see it's in the volume. Here you see Dave Filoni, Deborah Chow, Jon Favreau, and Kathleen Kennedy. Dave Filoni is going to be directing a lot of and show running Ahsoka. Deborah Chow is the showrunner director for Obi-Wan. Jon Favreau, basically everything now that's going on with Disney Plus, and Kathleen Kennedy is executive producer / president of Lucasfilm. And you can see here during the volume, you can see some of the equipment and all the stuff whatnot. Looks like there's I can't tell if it's a practical ship piece over there, but you can see the slave one over here. So there's that. There's also this nice shot of Dave and Grogu, aka Baby Yoda. And then here we see again Mandalorian, Andor, and Ahsoka, but on the left over there, that is her name was Guinevere something. And I should have prepared, but I can't remember. But she plays Mon Mothma. Mon Mothma is the leader of the rebellion. So in Return of the Jedi, she's the one who's draped in white, red hair. She's basically the leader of the rebellion, and she was in Rogue One, where she was talking to Bail Organa, played by Jimmy Smits. And then she was actually first cast in Revenge of the Sith. She was in a deleted scene where she was talking with Padme and two other senators, and basically they were talking about forming the rebellion. But that was deleted, but they kept her casting, brought her into Rogue One, and now she's going to be featured in Andor. Along with her Rogue One co-star, Diego Luna, who plays Andor. Here's a nice shot from characters from Obi-Wan. Obviously, Darth Vader. I don't know if that is Hayden in that outfit in this picture. Might be. He was there for the photo shoot, and you'll see the next picture. Then you have the character Reva, who looks to be a Grand Inquisitor or an Inquisitor. And then, of course, Obi-Wan Kenobi. And then the last picture from there is Hayden Christensen. Looks like he's practicing some sword fighting, lightsaber fighting. What's cool about this picture is they wanted, like Annie Leibovitz wanted to put him in a cape or whatever. And the only one they had available was that one that he's wearing in the picture. And that is Luke Skywalker's cape. So you're seeing Anakin Skywalker wearing Luke Skywalker's cape. And I thought that was pretty cool. Wouldn't you agree? So what came out of the magazine itself, they talked about so Andor first. So that's the next Disney Plus Star Wars show after Obi-Wan, and that'll be late summer. So maybe late August, early September. And then Diego Luna was interviewed for it, and he kind of described it as it's the journey of a migrant. That feeling of having to move is behind this story, very profoundly and very strong. That shapes you as a person. It defines you in many ways, what you are and willing to do. It's also been described as how the story of Andor goes from this feeling of not belonging or like nothing to sacrificing himself. Spoilers at the end of Rogue One. And it's not a story I would have went with as like one of the first Disney Plus things, but it makes a little bit of sense. Diego Luna is still around the same age as Rogue One, so telling his story as a prequel to it, and kind of, I guess, I'm hoping it kind of hits upon the dark side of the rebellion. He kind of alluded to it in Rogue One that he's done some questionable things. From what I understand, it's slated as a 3-season story. Alan Tudyk, who played K2SO, I believe is not in the first season, but is rumored to be at least in the starting the second season. So we'll see how that goes. Then they talked about The Acolyte, which is going to probably be released in 2023. Leslie Headland reveals that it is a mystery thriller that takes place 100 years before The Phantom Menace. So that's confirmation of the time period. Like right now in the books, it's about 200 years before Phantom Menace, and so the High Republic. When they first announced Acolyte, they said it was going to take place at the tail end of the High Republic, so everyone kind of assumed more closely to where Phantom Menace starts. But being 100 years before that, it's still kind of in the middle of, I think, the High Republic. basically it's going to be a story about how the Sith hide in plain sight under the Jedi's watch of the time. So the Jedi during the High Republic aren't the same as the one we've known from the prequels on. They're a little bit more loose with their dogma, a little more free. And I guess we're going to see how they go from that to the Jedi we know from the prequels. And the cool thing is that they will feature the look of the High Republic. So, we're used to seeing Jedi in the kind of earthy tones, the brown robes, kind of tattered, whatever. The Jedi of the High Republic, are dressed in like white and gold and a little more regal looking and less murder hobo-y. So that's cool. Like, it'd be cool to see that in live action, I think. And then a little bit about Ahsoka. Not really much was revealed except that Rosario Dawson said that she's terrible at keeping secrets since she accidentally leaked that Hayden Christensen was going to be in it before they were ready to announce that. And Disney kind of emailed her saying, you might want to take that tweet down or Instagram story down. So that came out of there. And what we do know is that, again, Ahsoka is going to be a 2023 release and is going to be a serialized show with a continuous story. So if you look at Mandalorian season 1, it was very episodic. So this is going to be more like, I guess, Book of Boba Fett, where it's like just a story from start to finish. I don't remember seeing if they mentioned how many episodes it would be, or if this will be more than one season, but we'll see later. As far as talk about Obi-Wan, which literally starts next week, people. It started as the third Star Wars film, so third Star Wars story film. So Rogue One, Solo, and then it was going to be Obi-Wan Kenobi. But unfortunately, because of the performance of Solo, they kind of put it on hiatus. And then they told the story about how, it kind of started from interviews with Ewan being, whenever someone interviews him, I'm sure they ask him, like, would you ever come back to Star Wars? Especially after Lucasfilm was bought by Disney. And he always said, sure, I'll come back if he'd be happy to come back. And so Lucasfilm approached him and kind of asked him, would you? And then that's how it kind of got the ball rolling with that. Let's see. What's something also interesting is Ewan is actually says he's the one who kind of came up with the premise of the show. To quote him, I just said, I think that it should be a story about a broken man, a man who's lost his faith. To see that man come apart and see what gets him back together again, which makes sense, right? Because he has this guilt of not only failing Anakin, but Anakin becoming the terror of the galaxy, Darth Vader. And so what that does to, one of the very best of the Jedi of the time, and, see where that goes, and it's kind of like the story of the Jedi. Like they failed, and they failed tragically and astronomically, like to the point where they were wiped out. And he kind of represents that. So, I thought it was going to be about that. Like his, as we see him in the movies, I think the animated series gives him more of a character. You get to feel like really the Clone Wars animated show, like the three main characters ish, you can say, are Anakin, Obi-Wan, and Ahsoka. And all three of them, as far as the Jedi go, they're the three main Jedi, and they all represent three very different kind of Jedi. Obi-Wan is like the poster boy of the Jedi. Anakin's kind of the rebel, and Ahsoka is kind of in between, even though she is Anakin's Padawan, because Anakin is still kind of Obi-Wan's Padawan. She also gains tutelage from Obi-Wan, and she kind of is why I think she's the best Jedi, is that she's a little bit of both, right? That's just me. Another interesting tidbit is that Vader wasn't going to be included, and then Deborah Chow, when she came on board, came up with the idea of including Vader. And she says, "For me, across the prequels through the original trilogy, there's a love story dynamic with these two that goes through the whole thing." So she's referring to Obi-Wan and Anakin. I feel like it was quite hard to not include the person who left Kenobi in such anguish in the series. I don't think Obi-Wan ever will not care about Anakin. What's special about that relationship and that they love each other? So, as we do know, I mean, they've been doing press lately. So Obi-Wan, Ewan Hayden, and the actor who plays Reva are, I think, in London, or we're in London talking about it. So it'll be interesting to see just what kind of part Vader plays in this show, and if we're going to see the moment that Obi-Wan learns that Anakin is alive and is Darth Vader. Because I don't know if he knew at the end of Revenge of the Sith. So we'll see. I don't know. So that came out of that about the TV shows. Some of the things they've hit upon, Rogue Squadron is still happening with Patty Jenkins. It's just been kind of pushed. But the next movie in Star Wars is most likely the Taika Waititi movie. Nowhere and when. There is still a movie to be slated for December 2023. So that could be if he does a really quick story. I don't think it's going to be a trilogy. I think she also, like Kennedy kind of mentioned, that they're moving kind of away from the trilogy structure and just concentrating on telling stories. That said, Rian Johnson's Star Wars involvement is still happening because it's been pushed. And they said that he's really busy right now because he's got his own Knives Out trilogy that he's working on with Netflix. They didn't mention whether or not his involvement will still involve a trilogy or if this is going to be a one-off kind of thing. Or I guess it really depends on what Rian wants to do and if he wants what kind of story he wants to tell. And then a little word about a project called Grammar Rodeo, which kind of like when Return of the Jedi was in production, they called it Blue Harvest to kind of hide the production. This is not going to be the official title, but it's called Grammar Rodeo, and that's the TV project that's going to be fronted by John Watts, who was the one who directed Spider-Man No Way Home and just recently left the Fantastic Four project over at Marvel, presumably because of his involvement with this Star Wars project. I think that's what he wants to go to. Fun fact, Grammar Rodeo is named after a Simpsons episode where Bart and friends steal a car. This project supposedly will be following a younger crowd. So I think it says this follows 4 children around the age of 11. And that it's going to have a very 80s Amblin Spielberg feel. So like Goonies and E.T. kind of thing. So looking forward to that. But yeah, that is all the news this week. Obviously, don't have a topic to talk about because Loren is not here, and neither is Thom. Like I said, next week I will be at Star Wars Celebration. So look, if you don't follow us on Instagram, do so. I'll probably be posting a lot from the floor. News comes out live when I'm there. I'll be trying to tweet that out, post it out. And once I'm back from that, I'm sure I'll have at least one video about it. So if you haven't yet, subscribe to the channel so you can see more of that stuff and hit the bell for notifications when my videos do come out. Or Loren does a lot more videos than I do. And if you haven't, I just did a unboxing of the, I don't know if you can see it behind me, the Ahsoka lightsabers over there. And like this video, if you would be so kind, leave a comment, and I think that's it. So thanks for watching, everybody. Hopefully in 2 weeks time we'll have another live broadcast, but we'll see. I'm not sure. And until then, catch you on the flip side.